Hey guys, I'm so glad that you're here because that means that you want to learn how to crochet. And the first thing that I get asked when someone wants to learn is, what do I need? So, what we're going to go over today is what hooks and what yarn to get. And the best place to do that is at the store. So, we're going to go yarn shopping. And I'm so excited to take you with me because it's one of my favorite things to do. I could spend hours in a craft store. Um, it's a problem. But anyway, I'm going to go with you today. So, let's head out. Okay, our first stop is going to be Walmart. And what we're going to be looking for is a solid light colored yarn. The variegated and like the color changing ones are beautiful, but those are a little hard to learn on just because the colors change and it's easier to see your stitches when it's a light colored solid. So we're going to look at this Red Heart Super Saver. This is one of the most basic beginner friendly yarns. This label, you can see this little yarn symbol. It says medium 4 weight, and this is a hook size 5.5 millimeter or a USI/9. Those sizes are interchangeable. You can use either of those sizes. They'll be on the hook. We'll show you that later. So let's see what other yarns we can find that are nice, solid, light colors. This is the Mainstay yarn. This is Walmart's version of the Red Heart Super Saver. So look at the label. It has the medium 4 weight symbol there, and the hook size is a 5.5 millimeter or an I/9 hook. All right, and these are the mandala yarns. These are so pretty. These would be okay to start with. The only thing is that they do change color, but there's such a large amount of color in between each change that it should be fine. This is a medium 4 weight, and you'd still use the 5.5 millimeter hook, also called an eye. Okay, now we're going to look at some cotton. Cotton is really good for hot pads and dishcloths. Good for hot pads because it won't melt like the other acrylic yarn that we've been looking at. So this label says it's a medium 4 weight, but it uses a 5 millimeter H hook. So that just means that this thread is a little bit thinner than that other 4 weight. There are ranges in that 4 weight yarn. So this one's going to be a tiny bit thinner than the Red Heart Super Saver or that Mainstay yarn that we looked at, but still really nice to use. Now we get to check out the hooks. This one comes in a 3-pack. This one is a little bit larger than what we need. The sizes are all there on the bottom of the package. So those are a little big, but this pack here is a good one. It has that H you could use for the cotton and that I that you could use for the Red Heart Super Saver or that Mainstay that we looked at. And if you've noticed, the eye hooks in these packs are labeled as a 5.25 millimeter, which also works because it's in the category of an eye hook. The 5.5 and the 5.25, you can use either one of those as the eye hook. I don't know why they range like that, but they do for some reason. These hooks, there's the 5.25 again. These hooks have handles on them. I love these. They're so comfortable in your hand, but it's all preference. You can get one with a handle, one without a handle. You can get plastic hooks. You can get metal, wood, whatever works best for you. All right, now we are at the Dollar Tree. And yes, the Dollar Tree has yarn. Let's see, this skein, I want to show you the label. This is a bulky, and it uses an 8 millimeter. So that's a little thicker than what we need. This one is a medium 4 weight, and it's going to use the 5.5 millimeter hook like the other ones that we looked at. Here's an example of one. This is also a 4 weight, but look at the strands. They are really fuzzy. So this is great yarn, but It is not the right one to start with just because it's so fuzzy. It's going to be hard to see your stitches when you're learning. This one is also a little bit fuzzy. It's thicker, but I would stay away from these for now just until you learn your stitches. They're a little difficult to see the stitch definition. All right, and here at the Dollar Tree they have these hooks. The size is a bit small for what we need, but sometimes they switch it out and they have some different sizes. Okay, we are at Michael's now, so we're going to look at their yarn just to see what they have. Let's see, this one. Now I want to look at this one. Remember we looked at the Red Heart Super Saver over at Walmart. This is the same one, it's just a different color. It's that medium 4-weight yarn, 5.5 millimeter. Now this one, the loops and threads, this is Michael's version of that Red Heart Super Saver. So it's that medium 4-weight with the 5.5 millimeter. These are all great ones to learn on. Okay, now we're going to look at Michael's hook selection. So they've got some variety packs. Those are really nice, but we're only looking for the I or the 5.5 millimeter right now. And they've got individual. Those are really nice. I love that blue. It's so pretty. All right, so they have a bunch of different kinds of hooks here. They've got plastic, they've got inline, which we can go over later. I'll show you the differences of those. They've got some wooden hooks, the ones with the handles. Got more with handles. Okay, yay, we're at Hobby Lobby. This is one of my favorite places to get hooks and such, and I do like their yarn. These right here are stitch markers. These are really helpful to have. We're going to be using those in our stitch tutorials, but you don't need those. You can use anything from home. You can use a paper clip, you can use a safety pin, a bobby pin, you can use a bunch of different things. All right, so we got plastic hooks here. Hope you can see the prices here. Hobby Lobby is very decent with their hook prices and their selection. This is my #1 place to go for hooks because they have so many varieties. These are all plastic. I haven't used these yet, but I would really like to try them because they're so pretty. These are light up hooks. My daughter has some of these. She really likes them because then she can crochet in the dark. All right, these are your classic metal hooks. I like those. Let's see, inline hooks. We'll go over those more later. There's a nice pack of inline. You can see they're shaped a little bit different than some of the others that we've looked at. This pack has that I 5.5 millimeter. That's your red one in there. Okay, here's Hobby Lobby yarn. Oh goodness, they're so pretty. I love all the colors they have. The variegated skeins that they have are so pretty and they match so well with their solids. This light blue color is a really good color to start on because it's light, solid color. Our label says it's a medium 4-weight. And our hook size is going to be that 5.5 millimeter or the I. That would be a great one to start on. Oh, but what one to choose? There are so many colors. Okay, we're back from shopping, and as you can see, I got fall colors because I love them. You only need one color to learn, but I think I have a problem. I also got brown because I love it. All right, So I just want to go over the label and the hooks a little closer so that you can see, just in case you couldn't see in those other videos. So on this label, you can see we have the medium 4 that's on there. And that is just showing you what the thickness of this yarn is. A 3 is going to be thinner, a 5 is going to be thicker, and that's an average size medium 4 weight yarn, right? And then we have the hook size right there. It's a US size I and a 5.5 millimeter. Those are interchangeable. As we saw at, I think it was Walmart, the I also falls under the 5.25 category. And I can show you what that looks like and the difference of it, because it's very minimal as far as the differences go. And then as far as the hooks, this was from Hobby Lobby. And there you can see the I and the 5.5 millimeter. That's what you want to look for if you have hooks at home and you weren't sure what size they were. And there's this one, the 5.5 millimeter size I. All right, and then there are a whole bunch of hooks. I got these from Temu. It came in a pack. 5.5. I have a couple of those. It's a 5.5. This is a 5.5. Those are all different packs I've gotten from Temu. You can get them from there. There's a few dollars for a whole pack of different sizes. There's that. All right, so the inline hooks I told you we were going to look at. So can you see how this is the same width all the way down? And see how there's just a little slit there for the hook and it's pointed on the end? That compared to the tapered hook here. See, the tapered hook has a softer hook right there. And also when you look at it from the front, you can see that it's tapered and this stays the same width. The reason I don't like the inline hooks is because this point on the hook there seems to really get caught on my yarn. It seems to split my yarn pieces when I'm pulling it through. This tapered does not do that as much for me. So that is why I choose tapered over inline. But everyone loves a different hook. It is totally preference. But that's the reason I don't care for it. And then I want to show you the difference of sizes. All right, so this is a 5.5 millimeter and this is a 5 millimeter. And you can see when they are right next to each other, this one is the smaller. But you really cannot tell a huge difference. And then I also have a 5.25. And you can see that this one also is labeled an I. So we've got a 5 millimeter as an H, a 5.25 millimeter is an I, and a 5.5 millimeter is also an I. But you can see the differences of them. So I would say, and I have done this, is I use all of these sizes with a medium 4-weight yarn. If I want a tighter looking stitch, I'll go with the smaller hook. If I want a looser stitch, I'll go with the one that it calls for. I seem to have my tension really tight, so I typically go with a smaller hook so that it ends up being the proper size. But you'll figure that out as you go. It's not something you need to worry about right now. But any of these sizes would work just fine. If you have these at home, you don't need to go get another hook for that yarn. Any of these would work for you. So that is our little shopping trip and our intro to yarn and hooks. I'm so excited to start stitching with you, and I hope you have a wonderful day.